things that's always struck me in looking at universities is, and a lot of it comes from the students sometimes questioning what's the value of athletics. Well, by itself, you could come up with one answer, but you can't separate athletics from any other part of the university. Just like, you're gonna have to have a business school. You're gonna have to have an English department, and you can debate whether you need them or not, but it's kind of a meaningless debate.
Right.
I like to focus on things that, that have, good alternatives. But the athletic programs are so important, and whether we like it or not, football, and I happen to like it, but the people that want to argue that why are you putting all this money into a stadium, they have a too narrow focus. They're not looking at the big picture. Because the big picture, I'm totally persuaded this is the right way to go, and I'm so happy that, the two of you have really focused on this. And it's taken both of you to be really focused on it.
Fair enough. And you're so right about, what athletics means to university. Somewhat depends on your perspective and where you are in your life. Whether you're a student, it's critical, obviously, to the student experience and campus life and all the energy that comes around that. Obviously, for alumni, it's their number one way they stay engaged with our university as they go off into their careers and their lives and then come back and supporters and donors. But probably the piece that people don't always give credit to is it's the biggest arm of marketing that our university has is Kansas Athletics. And we are the poster child of that, right? An incredibly difficult enrollment environment that we are in the United States right now, and failing universities due to dropping enrollments, et cetera, to have, 2022 national championship in basketball, and then right on the heels of that, ESPN Game Day comes to Lawrence on a beautiful October day and is running cameras up and down the hill for 3 hours of an infomercial for the University of Kansas. We had a 30% increase in applications within 2 weeks after that. And that has translated now into two of our biggest freshman classes in the history of the university, and now the greatest enrollment in the history of the university. There's a direct correlation, and you really can't argue that. And that's the piece of it that I think people had not fully appreciated going forward.
Well, no, it's been great to watch, and also it's not only the groups that you mentioned, but it's also like my parents, people that never went there, aren't alums,
right?
But they're going to be blown away by the stadium.
Yes.
And they'll take great pride in knowing that we have a conference center. That it's there's just so many benefits. People, they just feel so good about all this stuff, and I've watched it over the last 25 years.
Right.
Watched people react to every new thing, and so I'm just so happy I've been able to participate in that.
And I don't know that we could have predicted the timing, to your point, but I don't know that there's ever been a moment in time that it's been more important with all the dynamics that we collectively are experiencing in collegiate athletics right now, and the focus that's coming in on these things, and then the necessity for football, in our case, now going forward to support all the rest of our programs.
Right.
At this moment in time has never been more important. And so really the impact that this project is going to have far beyond football and far beyond the university, actually, but really into our Olympic sports, our women's sports, which are so critical to maintain that without this project, it would be a real challenge for us, I think.
Yeah. It's been a really rewarding thing, I think, for all of us, is to see the impact that men's basketball has long had on lifting the other programs, in some cases keeping other programs afloat.
Absolutely.
And now to have had this recent run of success in football, David, as you know, so many of our other programs are having unprecedented success stories. It's helping us attract and retain better coaches. It's bringing new fan support to whether it be baseball or women's soccer or volleyball. And so it is really a story of all aspects being elevated through the successes of these marquee programs.
Well, that's right. And it's fun to watch the success of women's soccer and particularly cool the upswing nationally on women's basketball.
Yeah,
Pretty
no
cool
question.
to watch.
Absolutely.
So I don't think people will ever get tired of watching sports. At least I won't. And you mentioned a final good point, which is I went to a dinner, I think, at the end of the season a couple years ago. And I got to meet a lot of the coaches. The coaching up and down the line, the coaches at KU are just a great group of people.
Right.
Going back to my days of selling shoes, you want good, honest people.
Yeah.
Sometimes we lose sight of that.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if this is totally unrelated, but when I grew up, it was kind of not all that fashionable to boo very much. But sporting events now, it's amazing how aggressive, particularly the student sections around the country are, and getting involved. I wish somehow people would have this better understanding about uncertainty, and the refs probably make the right call 80% of the time, or 90%, or 95, or whatever it is, and some of the times they just don't get it right. That's life.
Yeah.
Need you to come and have a sit down with our coaches to remind them of that. Don't get so exercised about that one missed call when they get, as you said, 97, 98% of them right.
I thought Coach Self at one point, early on in his tenure at KU, I thought he might have a problem with anger management. He gets so red, I guess the football coaches, you're far enough away you can't see how red
Let
they
me
get.
tell you, be thankful for that.
Yeah.
Be thankful for that.
Well, your point about the coaching staff across the board, that starts at the top and setting the culture of not just winning, but winning the right way.
Yeah, right.
Right. And doing it to really make sure that we're doing it in a way that elevates the student athletes and launches their careers, most of which will not be in athletics, right?
Yeah, right.
They'll go out in life and making sure that experience prepares them for the next phase in life. And I can't tell you how many industry leaders I talk to who say they will hire a student athlete every chance they get.
Yeah, I know we've had a lot of good former student athletes working for us.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have been able to take advantage of that.
And had I not been 5'1" in ninth grade, maybe I would have been one of those.
I love it. So here we are at this pivotal moment, this once in a generation moment of opening the new booth and celebrating together on August 23rd. We've talked about how, David, you've in so many ways have helped lead the charge and bring others along. Maybe what would a message be that you would have for the rest of our fan base or support base about the importance of being engaged with KU, about the importance of showing up at the booth and at Allen Fieldhouse and Horish, on and on and on? What signal would you send to our support base out there?
Well, how important every contribution is, regardless of how small. I was thinking about the parallel to Naismith and what happened with Naismith after he invented the game of basketball. It took off, and like crazy, and it was finally became an Olympic sport for the Berlin 1936 Olympics. Well, that was in the middle of the Depression, and 1936, my dad reminded me, was a horrible year in terms of drought, and it was really an incredibly rough year, particularly for Kansas. Well, people didn't have enough money to send him to Berlin.
Right.
So what happened was, spontaneously, there was a drive, give us your pennies. And so that's around the state, people contributed pennies whenever they could. And, this magic of compounding, it adds up over time. And they were able to send Naismith, and he threw up the opening tip for the first Olympic basketball game.
Incredible.
So that's kind of where you ask me what kind of message I would say. That's it. It's kind of like we're at the stage we're now. We need to go around the state and collecting pennies. I mean, the numeraire has kind of changed. I would say let's go out and capture dollar bills and $100 bills. It's kind of like that old saying about, for one of the nail a shoe was lost and yada yada. So you end up losing the war because of one little thing like losing a shoe, and that's what it's like now. I mean, I don't know if I don't know how many alums, active alums, living alums that Kansas has, but
400,000.
400,000. Well, if if each of those gave $1,000, that's 400 million. That's your. Now I know a lot of people can't give 1,000.
Right.
But if they give 100, that's 40 million. I mean, that's what the message is. Be part of the wave. Be part of the team, and so that's why I don't like to get too much credit because I understand there's a lot of money. But it's not enough on its own. It takes more than that.
You just so happen to be the captain, the point guard, the quarterback, in whichever way you want to frame it, but it does take those other pieces.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
Does but you have to build on a strong foundation.
Yeah.
To move forward.
That's one of the things I've learned is standing up and saying, okay, I'll be the first one. And that makes other people feel more comfortable standing up. Nobody wants to be the first.